Back with Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, the 1910 Germany campaign in 1.03. Excuse me, the 1910 Britain campaign in 1.03. Last episode we had a port strike mission, which is new in 1.03. And it kind of looks like you get one of those and you have a... This was it right here. You know, we had 2 battle cruisers, 6 armored cruisers, and some destroyers against just a couple of cruisers. And the new mechanic is, if you win one of those, then you do some damage, presumably through shore bombardment against an enemy port. And that happened. There was some question in my mind anyway on whether I needed to sink both enemy cruisers or if it was just enough to, you know, win a victory. It turns out it's just enough to win a victory. We sank the light cruiser, the armored cruiser, which is fairly fast, got away, but it was a victory. And we did in fact do about 35,000 damage to Emden. It seems pretty clear that that was 35,000 damage to Emden's port capacity. I don't know what else it would be. So, you know, I guess it was a little bit above 300,000 prior to that. But I don't know. I didn't look at it. In general, over all the campaigns, Emden is typically slightly higher than Wilhelmshaven. And in fact, that is the case now, even after that damage could have been. So I'm pretty sure that's what we damaged, but I don't know. So what I did do was I wrote down what all of the current German ports capacities are, so that if we get another one of those and we get the victory and we do some damage, we can compare and confirm that in fact it is the port capacity that is being reduced. I'm already like 99.9% sure that is what it is, but we'll be able to see for sure if that happens. The other thing that came up, and someone suggested this in the comments, it's a good idea. Since I have so much money, even though I don't really expect that it will come up that it'll come into play, I just turn the tech budget on. I don't know what else to spend all this money on, since I'm not going out of my way to blockade Germany. And one of the very near-term techs in hull construction is tower crane system, which gives us a minus 5% ship construction time. Now, the vast majority of all the techs, you have to make a new design and build a new ship in order to actually use that tech. This one's a little more ambiguous. I'm not sure if this ship construction time refers to a new design, or maybe it's just kind of an across the board, it just takes me 5% less time to build ships. So, just as a kind of little mini test, I guess, I am going to construct one battle cruiser now, just to see, just one, just to see what the build time is. So right now, it takes us 17 months to build Tiger, an existing design. And so ostensibly, if that new tech, when it comes in a couple months, applies to all ships, it should take us apparently I'm calculator challenged at the moment. Yeah. It should take us only 16 months with that tech if it applies to existing designs. So anyway, we've got Tiger building now for 17 months, and we'll see how long it takes to build a pre-existing design battlecruiser of the same class once we get that tech. Many of you probably already know the answer to this. I don't, so we'll see what happens in a couple months. All right. So with that, let's see. Tiger will go to, you can go to Rozeth since Sunderland is not available. For those who may not have seen the first episode, I just decided to see what happens if you do overload a port. So I've got almost twice as much tonnage in Sunderland than purportedly the port allows. It does prevent me from building new ships there. I assume that after a battle for repairs or whatever, it will not send any ships back to Sunderland. But so what? It hardly ever does anyway. As far as I can tell, there's not really any other downside to having way more ships in a port than it's supposed to be able to hold. All right, so enough jibber jabber, and let's go on to May 1911. Hey, Germany loses 2 more transports. Good stuff. By the way, toward some months back, I had built more light cruisers. We have those now. We had 12 at the start, and we're up to 18 light cruisers. So we have more ship per type. We have more in capital ships. We have more armored cruisers, and we're now even in light cruisers. We are still lower in destroyers, and that's just because I don't believe in building a lot of destroyers. I like using them. They're useful in battle. They have their role. But you only need so many for battle. The battle generator is not going to put 16 destroyers or whatever into a fight. You just need to give the generator enough to work with. This is true for any ship class. Anything above and beyond that, 6 or 8 of a certain ship type, you don't need them for battle. You need them for fleet composition, for things like monthly transport losses, power projection, and blockade. Not for the battles themselves, because of the way that the battle generator works. Or appears to work, in that it creates kind of a roughly equal battle and tonnage in most cases. So it doesn't really need more than say 6 or 8 destroyers. Anything above and beyond that is, in my mind, suboptimal, because destroyers in particular are per ton way more expensive than any of these other classes, including battleships if I had them. And I pointed this out in an earlier episode of this campaign. These ships, the light, the armored cruisers, the battle cruiser, these are all somewhere in the $900 to $1,000. We're British. Or we could be Germany, but it's not pounds or marks. It's dollars. Dollar sign, not pound sign. Anyway, it's about 900 to 1,000 per ton for these. I think the armored cruiser's down around 800 per ton. but it's over $3,000 per ton for a destroyer. So okay, build some for battle, but for bulking up the fleet for the more abstract campaign level considerations, it's just so much more expensive. So I'm not gonna try to match Germany in destroyers particularly. My most cost-effective per ton ship type is actually the armored cruiser. And that can vary a little bit on how you build your ships and what era it is. I've had other campaigns where the light cruiser were the best deal from that perspective. But by and large, the cruisers and the capital ships will kind of be roughly in the same ballpark. The battleships and battlecruisers might be slightly more. Sometimes the light cruisers, the most cost effective. Sometimes the armored cruiser is, and that probably has to do with propulsion and speed and how many bells and whistles you put on it. But consistently through every campaign I've ever run where I paid attention to this, which is most of them, maybe not the first few, but pretty early I started at least taking a look at this. Just inherently, destroyers and torpedo boats in the earliest eras on a per ton basis are scandalously more expensive by an order of magnitude than the big guys. Okay, we have a convoy battle. It's actually the first one of the campaign. We haven't had a convoy battle before this. And it's just right outside Kiel. So it's just a couple of our destroyers, and I'm guessing we're probably attacking. Right. Vivian and Warren are going to pop in, and we got a 10 transport convoy defended by a couple of cruisers. Up until recently, it was quite likely that we would see the transports first and have plenty of time to tear them all up and then just sail away before the enemy warships could really even engage, other than, some long-range shots. Recently, that has not been the case as much. It's become much more common that you run right into the warships before you even see transports. So that is not kind of a given anymore. In this case, though, they do have this R, which for reinforcing, which is supposed to mean, and has meant, it has meant in the past, is that they're further away, they're responding, and you'd still get that chance to wreck the transports before they can really make their presence felt. Whether that's true now, well, I guess we're about to find out if this R still means anything. But this is kind of what I built these destroyers for. They're fairly heavy on gun armament, not as much on torpedo. And I put some armor on them in order to provide some mitigation. It's certainly not foolproof, but some mitigation against the single 4-inch mounts that transports are often equipped with. As I've said multiple times in the past, I am not convinced that transports sunk in battle are properly reflected in the economy. Transports that I've lost in the past don't seem to have any effect that I've noticed. And we can't see the enemy economy, so there's no way to tell for sure if sinking transports in sinking enemy transports has any such effect either. I hope that is recognized and corrected at some point by Game Labs, but right now I don't see any evidence really one way or the other. I'm not convinced that they do have an effect. I'm not convinced for sure that they don't. I'm just going to go ahead and play as if they do. And my goal in this battle is to zip in there, rip up some transports, hopefully get all 10 of them if I can, and then exit before Seidlitz and Geyer can cause us any real problems. Or the fancy may take me that, let's go and try to torpedo these guys. I don't know. We'll just see how the battle goes. But it's right here off of Kiel, so we're pressing right up close to their home ports. As we should. We're the Royal Navy. Damn it. Right. Nothing in sight at spawn. Let's turn the torps off for now. I don't want to waste torpedoes on transports. Smoke is to the southeast, which is which way does the AI want to go? Oop, he says go this way. This seems a pretty big course correction. It's almost due south. I'm gonna angle it this way. It is daytime, but we got stormy, gale, rough wave conditions. We may have a fairly close spotting range. Oh, there we go. It is a transport, right? Yeah. And I think HE is fine. Transports are unarmored. They're not shooting back. These may not be armed. It's fine with me. Slow to cruise. Help the accuracy a little bit. Saxon done. They decide they want to shoot at Markgraf. Okay. We're still going 28. We can go even a little bit slower than that. Don't want to go down too low. At some point your accuracy buff actually starts dropping off with lower speed. More targets will be right behind her, so I see no reason not to just turn around and maintain station, beating up this group here. Okay. Agir next, or Agir. Kind of angle over this way. They're not shooting back. I don't see any reason to pop smoke. Okay, there's long-range fire coming in from the cruisers now. Not spotted yet. Okay. Star. Okay. Beowulf. Yeah. Warren is shooting a Graf Spey. I guess I don't have a problem with that. Ouch. Warren is taking... Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and smoke up. I guess I was a little late doing that. And, ooh, Warren may not be able to dewater. I should have popped smoke as soon as those rounds started coming in. Let's focus fire Beowulf. Oh my gosh, is that the... Yeah, spotting range is pretty close. That's one of the cruisers there. I think that's the heavy cruiser. Okay. Let's come back up in speed. Okay, Warren detach. Vivian, let's go see what we can do. Oops. Okay. I can keep shooting guns at transports, but targeting this armored cruiser for torpedoes. Flank speed. Warren continue to hit transports back over here. Light cruisers back over this way. Just going to make some gradual course changes here on my approach just to get that little maneuvering debuff on Sightless's accuracy. It won't be much, but it'll be a little bit. It's not going to be a great closure rate because she's making almost 29 knots herself, so that's a 6-knot closure rate, which makes sense. I mean, it's basically the same tactic I use on them, right? On the other hand, I did not mean to make that change. It was an unintended course change. This light cruiser is over here. I think we got a better angle on her. Smoke available again. Yeah, let's go torpedo the light cruiser. Shift the torpedo targeting to gyre. Oops, shit. That's what I get for... Aha! Gyre's actually much slower than Seidlitz is. What is that? She's making 20. I want to get forward of her beam. Shit. So Vivian's going to take a fish here. Is it going to kill her? Probably not. Is it going to slow her down? Yeah. I'm going to make a hard right, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on torpedoes. Because I don't know if I'm going to have the speed remaining to get a better geometry than what I have. Okay, do what you can. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Alright, turn away. I think Gyre's going to eat both of those. One aft, one midships. Nice. Okay, Vivian. What are your prospects here? This is a yellow compartment. That's getting dewatered. This is not damaged. That's going to get dewatered at some point. This one I'm not sure. These middle two, don't know. Those may not get dewatered. Alright, how's Warren doing back here? Warren doesn't see any more transports. I know we didn't get them all. 70%. So we've gotten 7 out of the 10. Well, with a light cruiser sinking, it's going to be a victory regardless. Let's go ahead and limp out of here. Okay, that was a question mark enemy ship. I assume that must have been a transport that is no longer spotted. I don't think it's certainly not Seidlitz. Speed up. Yeah, Vivian's not going to get that propulsion back. She's not hurt terribly badly, but she's not going to get her engines back. 8 out of 10 transports on a light cruiser. I think that's a fine day's work for Vivian and Warren. Yeah, got 8 of the 10 victory, 12-20 victory points versus 10. 9 ships sunk. It's a good day at the office. Wow, 473, almost a little over a third of the VP came from transports. So they may have bumped that. They may have bumped up the VP cost. They didn't say they did, but what does that work out to be? Over 50 victory points per transport, whereas after 1.01, when they first introduced the VP losses for transports, it was more like 9 or 10 per. So even if transports don't have a huge economic impact, just from a victory point perspective, they're still worth beating up as a group. That adds up. Geyer sunk. Light damage to Seidlitz. I guess she took a few rounds. And only light damage to both of our destroyers. Alrighty then. Let me just make sure I don't have any repaired operational ships not in the North Sea. Okay, looks like we got one at Dover, one at New Haven, a couple at Liverpool, and one at Barry that need to get back over to this sea area. Game won't let me send them to Sunderland, so they will all go to Rozef. Including a couple battle cruisers from a previous battle. Gibraltar's still repairing. Did I get them all? Plymouth empty. I've never seen the game send ships back to one of these 3 Irish ports. So I'm not saying it never does. Maybe others have seen that occasionally, but if they do, it's got to be pretty rare. Okay, Plymouth and Portsmouth are empty. All these others are moving back to the North Sea. June 1911. And we've got a light and 2 destroyers against a lone armored cruiser. And it's Vivian and Warren back in the fight. Quick 1 month repair and they're back at it. Okay, so the British armored cruiser is fairly fast at 28.8 knots. Naiad is 27. So Scharnhorst can outrun her, but she will not be able to outrun Vivian and Warren. See what we can do here. Remove Scharnhorst from the order of battle if we can. Okay, first thing, let me just pause for a second. Turn off torpedoes for now. And where are the destroyers? Okay. I'm not going to slow speed, but I am going to see if they can manage to get in a line abreast configuration. Smoke to the east, we're facing east. I'm going to slow the destroyers just a couple knots to help Vivian kind of get up in line abreast configuration. Even with the speed advantage, this could turn into kind of a... Nope, here we go. Naiad's the one taking the fire for now. Smoke up. I thought I had turned torpedoes off for Naiad. I guess I did. Yeah. Alright, Scharnhorst is making a run for it. Just going to keep Naiad going this way. As the destroyers get closer, Scharnhorst is likely to turn away from them, and that she may turn back far enough where Naiad has got a decent geometry. And it's just straight up chase. Naiad will not be able to catch her, not quickly, because of the speeds. But as these destroyers move in, she might get herself with a good shot, depending on how Scharnhorst maneuvers. Naiad's got smoke again. Now the destroyers are taking fire. You guys smoke up too. Destroyers go this way. Naiad can keep going this way. Kind of a pincer movement. Fix it so that Scharnhorst doesn't have a good option left or right. I think everybody can be on HE here. Warren's lost conning tower. It's going to affect her gun accuracy. I mean, you don't get all these factors shown for a torpedo shot. As far as I know, a lot or maybe even all of these factors don't affect torpedoes. I'm not sure about that. I just don't know one way or the other. Warren and Vivian up to seasoned by now. Worth mentioning. Let's cut Naiad over this way. Whatever else about the AI designs, it's a pretty fast cruiser. She's going to get a lot of firing opportunity as we close this approach. I'm going to go ahead and detach. And start getting kind of a destroyer per side. Further complicate Scharnhorst's evasion options. Yep, I had the wrong destroyer there. Doing okay, closing in. Warren's lost her... Well, she fixed her rudder real fast. That's good. Neither destroyer has taken propulsion damage yet. Could be coincidence, but I'd like to think that my practices of giving destroyers a little bit of armor help out there. It's a scam-likely telephone call. Not answering that. Well, problem is, she's now, even though she hasn't done any particularly crippling damage, Warren has taken some propulsion damage. We are slow enough now where we're not able to close the range. At least not for the moment. Scharnhorst has taken some HE damage, some structure damage, but not a whole lot. And her speed certainly isn't affected either. Right, so what I'm going to do, the angle is not great, but I'm going to go ahead and shoot with Vivian. The idea being maybe the Scharnhorst avoidance maneuver will give Warren a better angle. Okay, Torp's in the water. She turns. Scharnhorst now properly recognizes Warren as the bigger threat, switches fire to her, turns back away. Whoops. Shit. Will that be enough? I think it will. I hope it will. Okay, straighten up. Back to flag. Flank speed. I don't think she had really slowed that much anyway. Vivian's out of the fight. At least, in, she can still shoot a little bit, but torpedo-wise, she's out. Warren really not much better. Currently has about a 2.5 knot speed advantage. That's a 2.5 knot closure rate. Make sure Vivian's torpedoes are turned off before she inadvertently torpedoes a friendly somehow. Okay, Warren's out of smoke for the next several minutes. And I don't think she's going to de-water those two forward compartments, which means 23 knots is probably about all we got. Meanwhile, though, Naiad is at 27.8, Scharnhorst at 27.2. She may yet get into this fight with torps, possibly. I'm going to go ahead and let Warren take a shot. Bad geometry, unlikely to hit. But if it makes Scharnhorst maneuver some, kind of slowing down her speed of advance, could help Naiad in the long term catch up. Screw it. Just go aggressive. I'm just trying to make you maneuver. Or not. Okay, well. Alright, that's not going to happen. Right. Okay, better or worse, it's all on Naiad. Who, what have we got? Yeah, just one tube port and starboard. That's about all you can do on these hulls. Scharnhorst has not shifted fire. She's not shooting at Naiad yet. I'm going to save smoke until she does. Oh crap, we're almost out of 6-inch ammo. Okay. Scharnhorst now targeting Naiad. Smoke up. We've got Scharnhorst down to 64%, 24.5 knots. That's helpful. Destroyers keep tagging along here. At least stay within gun range if you can. Probably not. Alright, smoke gone for the next few minutes. It's basically like cruiser level armament that Scharnhorst has. She doesn't have 8 or 9 or 10-inch guns. Naiad is decently armored for a light cruiser. Max main belt 6 inches is as high as you can go on a CL. So if I kind of keep her angled here, hopefully can ricochet some of these shots, keep her from getting propulsion damage inside the inside the main deck. The Citadel, I don't remember if I actually put Citadel on this ship or not. I did. I maxed out the Citadel. Oh, she's got smoke again. Probably, even if we do get a torpid, won't necessarily sink her outright, but if we can slow her down and then get these banged up destroyers closer, maybe we can burn her down with HE and then reload for another shot. Torpedo shot, that is. So I want to keep the destroyers closing if I can. Down to 23.3. We're down to 26.4 ourselves. Just took some flooding. Got a little bit of rudder damage, but this compartment is not destroyed, so hopefully that will be repaired. I'm kind of assuming this aft lower compartment is what's relevant for the rudder. Down to 53% structure. Almost out of 6-inch. It's going to be an all 4-inch HE situation real soon. Actually, if we keep chasing her to the right, destroyer torpedoes may yet come into play after all. For that reason, I'm going to kind of keep Naiad going this way, to keep pushing Scharnhorst further to the right, avoiding. Interesting. I guess that must be fired at... pretty bad shot. That should be more than enough to avoid it. I think Vivian's gonna get another pop here. Both Vivian and Warren may get another pop here. Here, turn this way. Kind of in a situation where I need to be careful not to torpedo my own ships, as I've been known to do in the past. This is shaping up really nice. By the time she swings her launcher around, I think now's the time. Let's get a good solution. Now we're close enough. Go normal. Oh, she shot already. She liked it as unsafe. Good. And Warren, before you sink, do the same. I don't know if she got torps off or not. Okay, one smack from Vivian. Okay. Vivian, go ahead and turn away. Yeah, I have smoke up again. Naiad. No, Scharnhorst is real slow now, or will be slowing. Need Scharnhorst to take this torpedo back aft. If possible. That launcher swing time delay doesn't really need to be taken into account for... I think we're about there, though. Give herself a nice shot. There she goes. Perfect. All right. Nice job, Naiad, Warren, and Vivian. Sorry, Warren. Trading a destroyer for an armored cruiser certainly helps with the victory points. We did lose a transport. Okay, there's still a convoy battle during this month in June 1911, and it's going to be, we're defending, two of our light cruisers defending a transport against a heavy and a destroyer. That, however, I think we'll have to wait until the next episode. I forgot to look. We said 17 months, right? Yeah. Is what Tiger was. Like, let me write that down before I forget. Shouldn't that research have all... It was only 2 months away. Yeah, we did get it. I didn't see the pop-up message, though. And it scrolled off the bottom. Wow, they laid down a lot of ships. Laid down another destroyer, another light cruiser, 2 more destroyers, 3 more light cruisers. And, apparently they've designed a separate light cruiser class. The Stuttgarts are the one that we've been fighting. So this Falca class is different. Maybe we will or will not eventually see one of those. And also, this is one of their original destroyer designs, V1. But this is a V20 class. So they've designed the new destroyer as well. Okay, so we got that tech. We know that prior to that tech, a battlecruiser was a 17-month build. So if we build another of the same class, if that tech applies, it should be 16 months. It is not. It is 17 months. So I guess it only applies to same designs or new. So let's do this. What happens if we just make a new design, or we copy this design, we'll just call it something different. But otherwise, we'll just make it the same exact ship. Other than, to make it legal, I'm going to have to do something with this dumb barbette back here. Okay, so this is the Devastation class, which is identical to the Trafalgar. It may be an inch or 2 off and where I plopped this thing back down. But everything else should be exactly the same cost. 272, 260. Okay. How many months does it take to build one of these? 17 months. Okay, so could be one of 2 things here. Either A, it has to be a real new design. Maybe it doesn't apply to a copied design, even if we made changes to it. Or maybe that 5% just sits right there, kind of in the, so it's a rounding error. And even if Superb or Devastation is 5% quicker to build, it's rounding off to, Tiger and her earlier sisters maybe was rounded down to 17, whereas these are rounded up to 17. So it could be either one of those two explanations, or maybe you just need a completely new design to take advantage of that tech. Anyway, just through trying to figure out that question, we've got 3 more battle cruisers building at some point in the near future. And okay, so Parthian she was a replacement for an earlier destroyer we lost. Just now lost Warren, so get a replacement. Oh, Warren was a lead ship of the class too. Get another Warren class destroyer, but yeah, we might lose another one. Let's just go ahead and build 2. Looking ahead. Okay, and that will do it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching.